Okay, I want to talk about a piece that is frequently misunderstood, and that is the large tiles. And you'll hear them called cookie sheets, pizza stones, tiles. It doesn't matter what you call them. You can use them to decorate. You can use them to, say, set in your kitchen, use it as a charcuterie, although you'd cover up the great pattern, so why do that? Put it in your bathroom to put all of your things on there. It really doesn't matter. You can bake on it, cook on it. It's perfectly safe. And they come in two sizes. This is the larger. It's a 15-inch. And I'll show you the smaller one here in just a minute. This is a U5 pattern, by the way. Isn't that darling? I think it came out the year before last, and there's 3 versions of this. One with reds, one that are browns and yellows, and then this one has lots of purples and like slate blue. Very pretty. Anyway, so the thing that is often misunderstood about this is that people are afraid to use it in the oven for some reason. Even though they'll have bakers and other things that they don't, no problem, they wouldn't think twice, they worry about putting this in there. I'm not sure why that is. I am not afraid to use my stoneware. I have put my pottery under the broiler. I frequently cook at 400 and plus degrees. And so I have occasionally come across websites, you know, where they talk about, on their FAQ, where they talk about proper use of your stoneware. And somewhere along the line, someone's decided that either 325 to 375 is the max that you should ever put your stoneware in the oven. No, you're not, then you're not getting the use out of your stoneware that you should be getting out of it. Now I will tell you that even though I am not afraid to use my stoneware at high heat, I will also tell you that the only thing that I use in my oven is Ceramica Artisticina. I would not put pottery from the other factories in my oven. I just wouldn't. There's one that claims to be the biggest pottery manufacturer, and they probably, at least 10 years ago, they were in terms of the number of pieces that they spit out, but they didn't have the artistic flair that Artisticina does. And in my experience, they have a high crazing rate. It happens more frequently with that factory than others. So Artisticina, I love them. I have a couple of pieces that I bought that were a 4th quality back when I really didn't understand how all of that worked, and I still put them in the oven, and they work. And I have yet to break a piece of pottery from cooking in the oven. Now I've dropped one, and Peter has accidentally dropped one, but I've never broken one while it's serving its function. So let me just tell you though, if you're gonna use it, let's say you use this for pizza. It works really great, by the way. Pizza and cookies are the 2 most common things. I never put any fat on here. I don't put parchment paper either between it. I put the cookies right on this. The pizza goes right on it. However, if you're gonna cook at a high heat, put this in the oven first and let it heat up with your oven. I wouldn't put this cold into a 450 degree oven, although I still think it would be fine as long as this wasn't cold. But definitely I would put it in the oven and let it heat up. And then you're gonna create your pizza as you normally would. And if you like pizza and you make it a lot, you should have one of those wooden a peel, and you just transfer your pizza from the peel onto the oven. You open up your oven, you stick it on there, and you close that oven and you let it do its job. And the edges are gonna get crispy and beautiful, and it's going to be fantastic. I have, once I even, we were moving and I couldn't find all of my kitchen stuff, and I cooked an entire Thanksgiving meal on the grill, on the grates of a grill in Polish pottery. Did it all. Open flame underneath, did it all. Now the flame wasn't high and hitting the pottery, but it was right there. And so this stuff is durable. It's durable. Don't be afraid to use it. Let me show you really quick the small one, because these do get expensive. This is the 13-inch one. So this is still also very good for cookies. I have 2, I think, that are this size that I use frequently for cookies, so I put them side by side in the oven, and I'll use the bigger one for pizzas. So you can do the 13-inch, and you can, by the way, you can order these in any pattern that you want. As long as the pattern's in production, if you have a pattern that you like, chances of you finding that on somebody's website are probably slim, because retailers don't tend to carry a lot of these, because like I said, they are expensive. And so when you have an investment like that, you only carry a couple. And one of the reasons that these are expensive is because they have what I like to call a high rate of failure. So look at this piece. It's beautiful and it's flat. It's beautiful and it's flat. That's actually a very difficult thing to achieve. I'm gonna show you one more. It's gorgeous. It's actually, this is the 5192 that I was showing off in my other video. But it's beautiful and it's flat, and that's what you need. And so they all don't come out perfect like this. So it takes a little bit. So there's a high failure rate for this particular shape. And so they are going to be more expensive, and they are more time consuming to create. And so, you know, like I said, these are investment pieces. And years ago when I had my brick and mortar, this is my favorite type of thing to display on the walls. For some reason, I have this weird thing, this weird ick about plates on a wall. It's something that my grandma used to do. And while I'm not bothered by people who do it, I just don't want plates on my wall. It's not my type of decorating. But this on a wall, because it's flat and it represents the pattern perfectly, there's no rounded edges, that doesn't bounce light in weird ways. This looks beautiful up on a wall with a wall mount, especially if you have a couple of them. Oh, they're gorgeous. My favorite way was to display them like that in my store, and they just look really, really beautiful. There is also, I do have two things left on my website that are the same thing. They're flat, they're oval. This is discontinued, so you can't order these anymore, unfortunately. It doesn't matter what pattern you want. The shape is no longer in production. But this is the same exact thing. So you can use this if you wanted to, put this in your bathroom, and it would be a lovely counterpiece, and put your moisturizers on it and whatever else you wanted to put on it. Or you can bake with it. Put cookies on here. Put a pizza on here. Bake with it. They're really functional. They're beautiful and they're gorgeous, but they should be used. So those are probably the most, like I said, one more. Probably the most misunderstood piece. For some reason, this scares people. I don't know if it's because it doesn't have an edge to hold things in. So obviously you're not going to put something on here that would drip on the sides. So baked goods are definitely the way to go. But it's lovely. If you don't cook with a pizza stone anyway, you probably should. They're really great. Heat it up in the oven first, and for cookies, I always put my cookies in the freezer before I bake them. Maybe someday I'll do a video on that. And then I put them on the sheet at the last minute in the oven that they go. At 350, you don't have to heat this up ahead of time. You can just put it in the oven. Now, the one thing about pottery, and I guess this is worth saying in any video that I do, the one caveat with Polish pottery is you cannot subject it to extreme temperature changes. So temperature changes are okay. Like you can go from the room here into a 350 degree oven and you're not gonna hurt anything. You're not gonna hurt anything. You do not have to preheat your pottery if you're putting it in a 350 degree oven. If somebody told you that, you do not. So that's fine. But you wouldn't want to take that same dish out after you've cooked on it, set it in the sink, and run cold water on it. You are guaranteed you will crack that piece. Don't do that. Same thing if you're going to put it under high heat. If you get over 425 degrees, that's when I would start heating it up with the oven. But even then, I don't think I would be afraid to put it in there. What I don't do is a lot of times I'll pre-make stuff, and sometimes I freeze these. I'll freeze something, let's say I'm making lasagna or whatever, and I need to do it days in advance. I might make it and freeze it, and then I pull it out of the oven and let it defrost completely. I don't put that, or I let that heat up in the oven with, not from a frozen point, but I let it defrost. It could still be cold. If you've got it in the refrigerator, let's say you made something, some casserole or whatever, and you put it in the fridge, when you pull that out, because this holds temperature really, really well, the piece is going to be very cold. So don't take that and put it in a 350 degree oven, even though I think it would still be okay, and I probably would still do it. Those are the ones, if you take them out of the fridge like that, I let them sit on the counter for half an hour just so it takes off the edge of that cold, and then I put them in the oven. And chances are anyway, if you're doing a casserole, then it's no big deal to just stick it in there and turn the oven on. But you do not, for the most part, you do not have to preheat your pottery. It's durable. The thing to remember about the stoneware is it's fired twice, not once, but twice, over 1,500 degrees. You think it can't handle 400? It can. It can. Definitely can.